Maria wiped the last streak from the CEO's glass desk and exhaled quietly. It was almost midnight, and the office floor was silent, only the faint hum of the city below whispered through the tall windows. She'd been cleaning this building for 6 months, working 2 shifts and sleeping barely 4 hours a night. Every night, she tiptoed through polished hallways, careful not to leave a single trace of her presence, because people like her weren't meant to be seen here. Her daughter Lily, only 7, waited for her at home, or sometimes, on the nights Maria couldn't afford a sitter, in the small janitor's closet near the lobby. She'd set up a blanket and a lunchbox, promising her little girl she'd just be a few hours, but tonight, something was different. Maria didn't know that as she swept under the CEO's desk, a folded piece of paper had slipped from Lily's tiny backpack earlier that evening. It wasn't just any paper, it was a letter that would change both their lives. So the next morning, when CEO Daniel Hart walked into his office, his life was already a whirlwind of numbers, deadlines, and emails. He was the kind of man who hadn't smiled in years. A widower who built his empire from loss and pain, he had turned his heart off long ago, but that morning, as he set his briefcase down, he noticed something out of place. A piece of folded paper, written in purple crayon, lying neatly beside his coffee. Mugit read, in uneven handwriting, "Dear Mr. Boss, my name is Lily. My mommy cleans your office. She is the best mommy in the world. She says you are very rich and kind. Can you please make her rest? She works all night. I want her to sleep like other mommies. She gets sad when she thinks I'm sleeping alone. Love, Lily, age 7. Daniel froze. For a long moment, he didn't move. He sat in his chair, staring at the child's words until his vision blurred. The world outside his office, his meetings, his staff, his empire, suddenly felt very far away. He thought of his late wife, who used to write him notes in the same innocent tone. He thought of the years he'd spent working through grief, convincing himself that loneliness was strength, and then, he thought of the woman who must have left this behind that night. Daniel waited. Maria walked into the CEO's office as usual, wearing her old gray sweater and carrying a bucket. When she saw him sitting there, still in his tailored suit, watching her, her heart almost stopped. I'm sorry, sir, she stammered. I didn't know anyone was still here. It's okay, Daniel said softly, his voice calm but heavy. Maria, right? She froze. He knew her name. Yes, sir. I clean here at night. I didn't mean. He raised a hand gently. You didn't do anything wrong. I found this. He held up Lily's letter. Her heart sank. Oh no, she whispered. That my daughter must have. She didn't mean to. Daniel's gaze softened. She cares about you very much. Maria looked down, ashamed. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hart. I promise I'll talk to her. She just worries. I'll make sure nothing like this happens again. But Daniel shook his head. No. Don't apologize. He stood and walked toward the window. Do you bring her here often? Maria hesitated. Only when I can't afford the sitter. It's safe in the janitor's room downstairs. She reads or sleeps. I make sure she's quiet. Daniel turned back to her, and something in his face broke open, a glimpse of the man he used to be. She must be a strong little girl. Maria nodded, her throat tight. She is. She's all I have. They stood in silence for a while. And for the first time in years, Daniel didn't feel like a CEO. He just felt human. That night, he told her to take an early break and bring Lily upstairs. Maria hesitated but obeyed. When the elevator doors opened, Lily came running in with messy pigtails and sleepy eyes, holding a small stuffed rabbit. Daniel smiled faintly. You must be Lily. She nodded shyly. Are you the boss? I guess so, he chuckled. And you wrote me a letter, didn't you? Lily gasped, hiding behind her mother. Oh no, did I get mommy in trouble? Daniel knelt down, his voice soft. No, sweetheart. You reminded me that good people deserve to rest. Tears welled up in Maria's eyes. From that night, Daniel's routine began to change. He started staying late on purpose, sometimes with dinner boxes waiting for Maria and Lily. He talked to them, learned their story, and found himself drawn to the warmth he hadn't felt since his wife died. Maria told him about losing her job, the hospital bills, and how cleaning was the only way to feed her daughter. Daniel listened quietly, and for once, he didn't feel pity. He felt admiration. A week later, Maria found a note on her cleaning cart, meet me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in HR/DH. Her heart pounded. She thought she was being fired. But when she walked into the HR office, Daniel was already there, with a contract. I'd like you to work here full-time, he said. Not as a cleaner. As my personal assistant. I've seen how you care, how you handle pressure, and how you never complain. People like that are rare. Maria's lips trembled. Sir? I don't know if I can. You can, he interrupted kindly. And I'll make sure you have time for your daughter too. She broke down crying right there. For years, she'd begged life for a chance, just one, and it had come from a letter written in purple crayon months past, and their lives intertwined in quiet, beautiful ways. Maria became Daniel's most trusted aide, and Lily brought laughter back into his sterile office. She'd draw pictures for him, make paper crowns, and once told him, "You smile better now, Mr. Boss." He laughed more after that, but the turning point came one rainy evening. Daniel was driving Maria and Lily home after a late meeting when their car broke down near the old bridge. They sat waiting for the tow truck, rain drumming against the roof, when Lily whispered from the back seat, "Mr. Boss, do you ever get lonely?" Daniel looked at her reflection in the mirror. "Sometimes," he admitted. "But not when I'm with you too." Maria turned to him, startled. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them. In that silence, surrounded by rain and headlights, they both realized something had changed forever. Daniel wasn't a lonely CEO anymore. And Maria wasn't just the woman who cleaned his office. They were two souls who had found each other through the smallest act of love, a letter written by a child who believed kindness still existed. Months later, at the company's Christmas celebration, Daniel stood on stage and told his staff a story. He spoke of the janitor who never gave up, and the little girl who reminded him what humanity looked like. He ended by saying, "Sometimes, success isn't found in boardrooms or bank accounts. Sometimes, it's in the courage of a mother who keeps going when no one's watching, and in the heart of a child who still believes in goodness."